Hi, everybody. My name is Shannon, and you're watching another yarn. Thank you so much for joining my channel and being part of my Yarny Good community. I greatly appreciate it. Oh, that sounded really corny. Sorry about that. Anyway, I have been having so much fun getting to know so many people here in the YouTube community. I'm having an absolute blast commenting and talking back and forth and having conversations. Thank you for letting me do that. That has been fun. So, my channel, if you're new here, is about yarn, knitting, crocheting, some chat, having fun, encouraging one another because you know what? You're pretty awesome. And just having a really good time. There's too much negativity in this world anyway. You have to have fun. So, I picked up recently some of the Lion brand Wool Ease Fair Isle. Have you seen this? I'm going to show my favorite color because why wouldn't I show my favorite color? You seen that? That is the taupe. Let's see, I forget what, golden taupe. I like this particular color. It's my favorite color. A lot of people don't like it. Maybe it looks bad on them or they think it looks bad on them. It goes really well with the redhead. I love it. But I haven't worked with this before. It's an 80% acrylic, 20% wool. Has wonderful, wonderful patterning already there, so you don't have to work with two yarns at once. You just let the yarn flow. Do a simple stockinette if you're knitting, or a plain. You don't even have to do fancy stitches if you're crocheting to really get that patterning effect. Want to see? I want to see. Oh, let me go over some of the specs a little bit more, and then I'll go down to the table and we'll show you what it looks like in both knit and crochet. Does that sound pretty good to you? I like that idea. This particular yarn is 5.3 ounces, 150 grams, 348 yards. So that is a very, very big ball of yarn, which is great. Because the price is $9.99 full price. Definitely get it on sale if you can. If you can't, it's not horrible, but there you go. It feels great. It's 80% acrylic, 20% wool. It is a machine washable, and there's a lot of pattern support for it. So let's go down to the table and see what we can do with all of this stuff. Okay? All right. Okay, well, we're down on the table, and it is time to start working and crocheting and knitting a swatch with our beautiful yarn. Here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the denim lilac color. I'm using a size J hook. It is a 6mm hook. It's Susan Bates brand because that's the kind that I prefer. But whatever works best for you is totally fine. There you go. So I'm going to go ahead and just chain some. All right. And I'm going to start off doing some half double crochet just to see how that looks. And I am in the white portion, or the Fair Isle portion, between the white and the lavender on this particular color. So we'll see how that works out. This is not yarn barf. I pulled some out earlier and was playing with it and just wound it back up and put it back in. So that was not any fault of the ball. That was totally me. I did it. So the yarn is very smooth, very easy to work with. It feels really nice in the hands. You do have that little bit of wool, but it's not a lot of wool. It's a 20% wool composition in here, and it really feels nice. If you're gonna make hats and garments, that wool will add to the warmth of your project. Wool does insulate better than acrylic, so it is a very nice, comfortable feel. This is an easy care wool acrylic blend, being that it is 80% acrylic and 20% wool. Easier to deal with as far as that. So I did my first row. I did half double crochet, and you can see it's moving along smoothly. I'm not really fighting with the yarn. This is just, like I said, the ball that I wound up prior to. I thought that would make it easier. That's what I get for thinking about that. There we go. So I've got one half double crochet and 2 rows of single crochet. And let me do some doubles. Let's see how that looks, making some more elongated stitches. Generally with a Fair Isle style of yarn like this, if you want it to look just like the ball band does or as close to as possible in crochet, you're better off sticking with single crochet. So you can do all of your work in half double crochet, double crochet, etc. But when you come to that Fair Isle part, you want to do that single, and you'll get more of that look that the ball band shows than you are with the any other stitch. And that's because it's a shorter stitch. Crochet takes up more yarn than knitting does. So for those dots and those little dashes of color to really show through, you need a smaller stitch or something that doesn't take up as much of the yarn. You can see, I can't really see the difference with the light. I'm in the center part. With this particular yarn, you've got portions that are just bigger spaces of color between. And with those bigger spaces of color, you're going to end up with more of the purple in it, the blue in it, things along that line. The Fair Isle is not even across, not that it's wrong, it's just not an even consistent, so you do have some variations within the Fair Isle, which I think adds a lot of unique character to the item and will add a lot of unique character to the garment. So there's 4 double crochets that I put there. I'm going to go ahead and do a popcorn stitch, a bobble. Oh, I just lost my light. Well, that's great. And if you've been in my channel for very long, you know I really like bobble stitches. So might as well make a bobble and see what it looks like. And let's do a shell. Just because we can. Let's see. Okay, so I think that those really do show up quite well. You can judge on that. It feels wonderful. Here's the shell right here. So you can do some pattern stitches. I think with this particular yarn, I don't know how much on the pattern stitches that I would do, because I really like the way that the Fair Isle comes across, and just with the different colors going through. And with this one, with the taupe, let's see where that is. Right here. And what I was talking about, can you see how it's kind of muddied right here? It's muddied like that with knitting also. So that's not really doing anything different with the crocheting. So you're not getting a different look necessarily with the crocheting than you would with the knitting. On the blue section, you're gonna get more of the Fair Isle look, more of the bigger dots, bigger breaks. But this section right here, it's more of a mush together. So I've really enjoyed that. I'm enjoying the way that this feels. I'm enjoying the way that this looks. It frogs. Very, very nice. Frogging is ripping out, ribbit, ribbit, ribbit like a frog, if you weren't aware. So no real snags, nothing as far as that goes. That's good. I didn't have problems with any of the stuff like I was referring to with Yarn Barf. So this is a size 8 knitting needle. Let me go ahead and pick up some stitches. And then that's probably going to annoy me with my needle banging against the cardboard or table or whatever. So if you crochet and you knit, you can do that right there. You can add knitting onto your crocheting onto your knitting, and really give your piece more of a unique look, a one-of-a-kind look that other people just aren't going to have. And that's one of the wonderful things that we have with the creative arts and with the knitting groups and crocheting groups and things along that line, is we can come up with some really fascinating things to do with, as I like to call it, 2 sticks and some string, or a bent hook and some string, right? So that it works up really nice, smooth, easy with knit. I do have a project that I have made with the knitting using this denim lilac yarn, and here is my hat. So very simple, very easy hat. And you can see what I was talking about, even, let me fold that, even with the knitting, you've got more of a defined back and forth pattern right here. And then this is kind of more of a solid white mushed together, not the same as this. So you do have the solid blue, the lavender, it goes into a defined Fair Isle style, a mushed kind of color, blending the lavender with the purple back into a Fair Isle solid purple and the blue. And for our test swatch over here for the crocheting, we were very much right here that we have for the knitting. And I don't think you're really getting any difference with that color. I think that that's a very good representation with the knitting and with the crocheting on that. Overall, I really enjoy this yarn. It was a pleasure to work with. I was able to knock out a hat on size 8 circular needles very, very quickly. It frogs really well, rips out really well. It's an easy care product. What I really like about this with the Lion brand yarn is these are 150 gram balls and well over 347 yards. 348 yards. That's a lot of yarn. That is the equivalent to like a skein and a half on so many other things. It retails for $9.99 on the Lion brand site and also at Joann's, but both Lion brand and Joann's do have sales. Lion brand has been having quite a few sales. Here it is the end of the second week of August. And they've had quite a few interesting things along that line, and so has Joann's. So if you are interested in this yarn, I would highly recommend and suggest that you use a coupon, you do something along that line, you grab one ball of the yarn and see what you can do with it. The other nice thing I've shown here with this hat and the mitts and then the cowl down here, you can go onto the Lion brand website and type in M23025 for the hat, M23027 for the mittens, M23026 for the cowl. You can make all 3 items with one ball of yarn. And I find that extremely economical, even if you did have to pay the full price of $9.99. So I hope that this has helped you on any decisions that you may or may not make on this particular yarn. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I've got enough of this particular color to make a full sweater, and being that there's over 340 yards per ball, I definitely have enough. Thank you very much. If you like this review, please go ahead and like this, subscribe, thumbs up, all those wonderful YouTube things that everyone says is really important for a channel. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.